Dear colleagues, I'm forced to keep the time here, and the next report will be made by ScanEx representative, by Mr. Kasimov.
Добрый день.
Good day. I'd like to thank the organizers and all the experts present here for willingness to listen to what I have to say. You may even like it. I am Ilshat Kasimov from ScanEx. The scope of our interest is wide-ranging. One of the headings that we pursue is the creation of information systems, be it for regional authorities or local municipalities. In particular, let me tell you about the Geoportal that addresses a comprehensive, complex task, predominantly in the forestry sector, but not all of it. First of all, let me identify tasks that precede the establishment of Departmental GIS. I think this mostly relates to a state initiative rather than the local initiative, but a departmental GIS is something that organizations need to contemplate as a possibility. This is one of the ways to switch to continuous forest management cover. And it's also good for keeping forest registries. Information flow, virtual flows, I mean. We understand that any Geoportal is fed from local data available on the customer side, external sources, be it fire service or weather service or any other data transmitted officially from a governmental authority. And later, this information, depending on clearance levels and classification status, it is distributed among stakeholders. Typically, we are in a situation where there is a fairly good data set based on previous assignments, and it includes raster information in all types of formats, vector data, and all of that has to be consolidated some way. In particular, in order to perform a task that I'm going to talk about, we relied on the info provided by the customers that had a project on forest farm boundaries, a quadrant network, forest plot bounds. We, on our side, provided a big amount of information in raster format, high resolution and very high resolution imaging from IRS, Spot 5, Iconos, GeoEye-1 and Worldview. Typically, a customer says, I want to see the system, but I don't know exactly what I want inside that system. So our point of departure here is a set of functions and authorities attached to the customer. When we talk about the Russian environment, there are functions and obligations of the customer. Here I made some broad strokes to describe some of the functions attached to the customers. That is firefighting, next powers to maintain the state forest register, and day-to-day activities. As far as the fire monitoring goes, the use of vector and raster information allows you, this is a fast info, so that allows you to monitor areas where fires broke out, thanks to vector data. And raster information informs you about the forest massive, and it's not a spring fire made by man intentionally. As far as the clusterization of fire hotspots is concerned, we've done that, and we have databases on where fires started. We can also obtain data from surveillance cameras. In particular, we used PTZ cameras located at mobile communication towers that provide us with fast information regarding the situation around. In terms of maintaining the state forest register, I think it relates to data describing geospatial information. If we look at the national legislation, we will find a definition of forests by type of use or by purpose. All of that can be included in GIS, and simple operation will extract any information needed. Predominant forest and underwood varieties. Additional options of the soft complex, which forms the backbone of this Geoportal. That includes complex use of various departmental data in vector and format and space imagery that can help you analyze the accuracy of boundaries of forest farms, of forest quadrants. You can check the boundary, verify the boundaries of the forest estate. You can even make a transition to a continuous forest management cover, and one of such elements is the establishment of departmental or agency archives of space imagery. A little bit on each item. This is a space-borne image. Of course, all of that is done very easily with software. So from here we can extract needed data for day-to-day activities. The same example, quadrant by quadrant fire hazard situation. These are high nature value forest map. This is a domain for environmentalists, but our customers are interested in that as well. As far as the complex use of local information is concerned, as part of interdepartmental cooperation, this is a cadastre map of the Russian Federation. Various cadastre maps. This is a land category map. Also, we can detect inaccuracy. I mean to criticize any state authority doing it, but sometimes there is a map provided to us, but then we superimpose an image, and we will see that there is arable land where the forest is supposed to be. So that helps to detect errors. Regarding the boundary verification, there are inaccuracies as well that need addressing, and the same applies to the boundaries, which become visible from space images. As far as wood cutting is concerned, that can be another domain where we apply our software. We can identify legal or illegal logging. We customized a system so that our customers could check the available information, vector information, with other available sources. Let's say a forest ranger walked along the boundary of the forest, and then we superimposed with the image available to us. So if we don't rely on an image but rather spatial information, it would appear that this track from navigator is somewhat off, meaning that some type of adjustment is necessary. It is possible to create departmental archives, but in order to avoid this information being transmitted by flash disks, this can be distributed data. So customers can insert data of nadir angle and other settings and download it if necessary. Once again, this is interdepartmental application. It's not Cosmos portal, it's interdepartmental, interagency. Now this is about local data already loaded, but sometimes there is missing local data, not enough. So we came up with a service, a remote access service, where customers have access to web map service or JavaScript, and that allows them to access the relevant data. So we can speak openly that more than 7 million square kilometers are available, and we can make it publicly open, publicly available. The same applies not only for GI, but Iconos as well. I mean, this must be the most interesting stuff given the resolution. We started doing Mosaic coverage from Spot 5 for Russian Federation, which may be of interest for selected customers. In general, I think that's all, except maybe one thing. Before we left, we were designing, we were making a switch to GIS, web GIS system. And we were working on the on-the-fly options without use of some dedicated software, but immediately through the portal's interface. Well, this is all I have. Thank you for your attention. Your questions? Are there any questions from the floor? Can you tell me what areas of the Russian Federation already benefit from the system? Who are the users and who provides content for the system and keeps it updated? So it's a very specific question. The pilot area is in Vladimir region. Who feeds it? The contract has recently expired. We were the original contributors of information, but I mentioned local data. So the idea is that the customer will own the instrument itself, because this is something they need for day-to-day activities, and it's somewhat inexpedient to go to us all every time they need information. So we also expected that customer to prepare data as well. I guess that's... Who are the potential users? What type of organizations? To all intents and purposes, I mentioned a specific example of Geoportal in forest management. But because of evolution, we realized that there is no limit to who can be our users, because it can be any domain. In the forestry sector, these are regional state authorities who perform their functions, be it forest register maintenance or fire control, or organizations contracted by state authorities to do that work. Thank you very much.